Kind of similar question from Kyle Cabasaris. How do you minimize the tension between philosophical ideals and the engineering realities of the model? And I guess he's talking about when you are working on things like character, which we'll discuss in more detail. But is there a clash between the sort of the technology and the philosophical ideals that you might be thinking about?
I don't know if I'm like interpreting the question in the wrong way, but like one thing that being kind of like a philosopher by training and then coming into this field that's been really interesting is, do you see the effect of like what happens when like the rubber hits the road? I've wondered if this happens in other domains. So like there's a big difference between, imagine you're like a specialist in, I don't know, doing like cost benefit analysis of drugs, say, and then suddenly like, an institute that determines whether like health insurance should cover a drug or not comes to you and says, hey, should we cover this drug? You could imagine taking all of your ideal theories and then suddenly being like, oh my gosh, I actually have to like help make a decision. Suddenly, instead of taking like just your like narrow theoretical view, you actually start to, I think, do this thing where you're like, okay, I actually need to take into account all of the context, everything that's going on, all of the different views here, and kind of come to a really like balanced kind of considered view. And I see this a little bit in my own work with like the character, where you kind of